Hello. This is the Greenbrier Valley Church of the Nazarene with your daily devotion for Thursday, August the 4th. Welcome. Today we read from the book of Acts, chapter 8, verses 26 through 38. Here's the word of the Lord. Now an angel of the Lord said to Philip, "Go south to the road, the desert road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza." So he started out, and on his way he met an Ethiopian eunuch, an important official in charge of all the treasury of the Kandake, which means Queen of the Ethiopians. The man had gone to Jerusalem to worship, and on his way home was sitting in his chariot reading the book of Isaiah the prophet. The Spirit told Philip, "Go to that chariot and stay near it." Then Philip ran up to the chariot and heard the man reading Isaiah the prophet. "Do you understand what you are reading?" Philip asked. "How can I," he said, "unless someone explains it to me?" So he invited Philip to come up and sit with him. This is the passage of the scripture that the eunuch was reading. "He was led like a sheep to the slaughter, and as a lamb before its shearer is silent, so he did not open his mouth. In his humiliation he was deprived of justice. Who can speak of his descendants, for his life was taken from the earth?" Then the eunuch asked Philip, "Tell me, please, who is the prophet talking about, himself or someone else?" Then Philip began with that very passage of Scripture and told him the good news about Jesus. As they traveled along the road, they came to some water, and the eunuch says, "Look, here is water. What can stand in the way of my being baptized?" And he gave orders to stop the chariot. Then both Philip and the eunuch went down to the water, and Philip baptized him. And that is the word of the Lord. The article today is Obedience to Christ by Sherry Commel. The Ethiopian official's conversion recorded in Scripture is one many are familiar with. The story is part of the early days of the church as the apostles began to seriously implement Jesus' command to take the Gospels to Jerusalem, Samaria, Judea, and the ends of the earth. The official was reading one of the servants' passages in Isaiah, chapter 53, 1 and 2. Physically, it was impossible for him to fully embrace Judaism and circumcision, but he did understand baptism as part of the conversion open to all who believe. Baptism is a visual symbol of our forgiven sins, our intent to follow Jesus, and our desire to live by the standards of His Word. Like the official, Philip acted in obedience to God's instruction, even though they probably seemed absurd. It was the wrong time of the day to be walking in the desert. No one traveled during the noonday heat, but Philip obeyed. It is a reminder of our own obedience to God's promptings and instructions, even when we do not understand, cannot predict the outcome, or see the reason why. In obedience, we give action, both in baptism and daily life, to our commitment to Christ. The hymn is Trust and Obey by John H. Sammis. Trust and obey, for there is no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. And from the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 11. Dear friends, since God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. And this is your daily devotion for Thursday, August the 4th. Have a blessed day.